Welcome to In the Box Seat. I'm Ray Fewings, and on tonight's program, our interview guest is an owner that's been in the game for as long as I can remember, a former Riverland personality, Daryl Maida, who is part owner of a couple of very nice greyhounds in Widgie's Woman and the very much in form Arthur Beach. Well, there's a lot happening in greyhound racing in South Australia again this week. We continue to march on. The Anniversary Cup final on Thursday night. The Victorian and very experienced greyhound from the Britain kennel, Symmetry, has drawn box one and is going to make him very, very hard to beat in the final, even though he was defeated in the second place in the heats. 40-20, what a great performance it was by him. First run in South Australia last week, won the Premier's Cup for the Stayers. Now the plan for 40-20 is to have maybe one more run here in Adelaide, and then he's off to Sandown for the Cup over there in about 3 weeks' time. Jumping out of his skin, I'm told, and Peter Jovanovic is pretty confident he can get this former top liner back to something like his very best. Calden Mayhem, the other arch rival from the Murray kennel, the Blue Dog again was beaten into second place at Wentworth Park on Saturday night, beaten a length and a half, when an even money favourite. Well, there's lots on, of course, over Easter, as you would expect. We've got the Golden Easter Egg is finalises at Wentworth Park on Saturday night, and Radley Bale is the dog that's emerged through the series as the outstanding dog. He ran the fastest time in the heats, 29.4. He ran the fastest time in the semis, 29.68, and provided he draws a good box, he is going to be the dog to beat in the Golden Easter Egg. But that's not all that's on this weekend. We've got the Centre Bet Magic Maiden final is on. We've also got the West End Draft Anniversary Cup, as I mentioned, the final in Adelaide. The Big Dog Cup up there at Albion Park, a 600-metre race. Certainly a big one there. The Easter Chase for the Stayers at Wentworth Park. We've got the Warrnambool Classic is well and truly underway. The Bendigo Gold Cup, the big Bendigo Gold Rush Series is underway there. And the Ambrosoli. Not very often they name a race after the race broadcasters, but the Ambrosoli is also on this weekend. So a big Easter, and we've got plenty of greyhound racing in South Australia to tell you about as well. Now, the tips for Angle Park on Wednesday, I see that Aston Rachel has been dropped back to a very low-grade race, a 7:31, the opening event on Wednesday, and should be an absolute special. She ran second to 40-20 here last Thursday night. Just gets a little bit tired at the end, but this is the sort of race she can lead by 10, and she's probably a good thing on Wednesday. That's my tip. But as far as the Honeys are concerned, they've got a better reputation than me. Race 7, number 2, Narimba Sapphire. Recent winner here in 30 and 53. Looks to be an improver, and the Honeys think she can win again. And in race 10, this looks a grading certainly. Beautifully placed by the Riemann Kennel. Number 3, Rockfish. He's a proven, well, he's the Thursday night dog, and he drops back to Wednesday greyhound class, and he'll be the hard one to beat. Now, the Honeys for Thursday night. Race 5, number 2, Lasting Effect is their tip here. A Victorian visitor. He's got a good record, good recent form, and has been placed in 23 out of 30, and has won over the 600. So Lasting Effect, the Honeys have found that one. Their first 4 in that race is 2, 6, 8 and 3. Their other tip is in race 11, number 4, Fat Wreck. This has come back to racing in tip-top form, Fat Wreck, and there's no reason why it can't win again. And their first 4 in that race is 4, 2, 3 and 1. Now, the racing at the weekend, the Easter weekend, they're at Barmera. Maybe Daryl Maida can give us a tip for Barmera at the weekend. That's on Saturday. Port Augusta have got a day meeting on Saturday as well. Sunday, I'll be going down to Strathalbyn for the Twilight meeting. Be calling down there. It'll be my pleasure. And they're also racing a matinee at Mount Gambier. So plenty to watch there. In a moment, Daryl Maida. I'll call him in from the Riverland, and we'll find out how his dogs are going at the moment. Arthur Beach, Widgie's Woman, and I fancy there's probably a few more. Well, in the box seat tonight, Daryl Maida, the Riverland owner, now living in Adelaide, and still, I'm pleased to see he's involved in greyhound racing with Widgie's Woman, Arthur Beach, and a few more, Daryl.
And a few others, Balali Boy, Miss Lash, and we sent one over to the west, Romulus, so got an interest in still 4 or 5 dogs.
Well, we go a long way back for Daryl Maida to be a successful owner. Back in the Doug Payne days, very early days of the 70s, he had some nice dogs then.
I think early 70, the first one I ever had was Fawn Esquire, and believe it or not, he was the first dog to break 31 seconds at Angle Park.
Yeah, I remember that. If you had one go 31, you thought you had something pretty special. Now, they'd be condemned to the bush, I would think.
I would think so.
Why do you think it is? Is the track a faster track? Are the dogs better trained?
Oh, I think the track improvement. I think the tracks are faster. I think the dogs are probably faster. I don't think they're as strong anymore.
Or chase as well?
No, I think in the olden days you had a tougher dog, but he wasn't probably quite as quick.
Now, you had an absolute beauty called Danica.
Danica, very good dog. We trained her and she won the St Leger in South Australia, and she went over to Victoria in those days and she won 4 or 5, and that was hard to do.
You had an Oaks winner?
An Oaks winner in Smoky Sheen from the Riverland Bell litter, and she was a very good dog too, and Doug trained her back in those days.
Well, the ones you've got at the moment are going particularly well, and for anyone wanting to break into greyhound racing, I understand Widgie's Woman is up for sale simply because your trainer only has 3 kennels and has more than 3 dogs.
Yes, at the moment we only have 3 dogs, that's all we have, and Carol Scott trains them. And we got a couple of Big Daddy Cool Bar Crusher pups, and they look like they might make the grade. And so therefore we have to get rid of a couple. And I suppose Lola Montez, she'll have to go. But Widgie's Woman, yeah, she's a good little dog. I think she's won 15 and placed 20 times.
Broken the 30 and
Yep.
Strong at the finish?
Yeah, she runs out a strong 500 and she's broken the 30 seconds. But there's only 3 kennels, so you have to get rid of them.
Well, those people watching on the net, if you want to break into greyhound racing and get a dog that's going to come straight to Angle Park and probably win another 4 or 5 races pretty quickly, I suggest you give Daryl a call and see about Widgie's Woman, because she's the perfect greyhound and very rarely injured either.
No, she's a great little dog, and she's very genuine, and she doesn't go injury. She's not injury prone.
The other dog, Arthur Beach, has come back a bit better this time in. He's always had the pace.
He's always had the post, but he's one of these. He does everything at 100 mile an hour, and believe it or not, he chipped one bone in the front wrist. He was out for, I think, 3 months. Then he chipped another bone, and the other one he's been out for 5 months. But he's one of those sort of dogs that's slightly erratic. Everything he does is 100 miles an hour. So we hope now with a bit of age, and that after coming back from injury, that he'll settle into a good pattern.
Well, the way we've seen Stackham Flat go, he's won over $100,000, and all the others like Crazy Heart out of Bar Crusher. I can understand why you're a bit excited about these Big Daddy Cools.
They still got a long way to go, but they've only been at the breaker a couple of weeks, but the indications are that they probably could make the grade.
Well, you've been a lucky owner, so I might rub against you for luck, Daryl.
Yeah, be great if we could get another couple.
All the best, and if you want a good greyhound and it's not all that dear, give them a call about Widgie's Woman and get yourself a good greyhound. Thank you, Daryl.
Good, thanks, Ray.
And now we'll just finish up with a look at the best bet for the weekend, and we're going to make it Symmetry in the Anniversary Cup out of box 1. Robbie Britton, he won 1 here at the weekend with Emo Appeal. Symmetry, I think, will be much improved off the red, so we're going to make that the best bet. So if you'd like to know more about greyhound racing in South Australia, simply get on to grsa.com.au. Now, I do apologise, we won't be here next Monday night. So we won't be on the net next week, being Easter, but sure as hell we'll be back the week after. Good greyhound racing.